Greetings everyone, I'm Mar. Once again, this is my opinion. As you can tell from the title up there, I'm continuing my trek through the episodes of the classic 90s show, Batman the Animated Series. This is episode 9, Be a Clown. The teleplay was written by Ted Peterson and Steve Hayes. And it is another Joker episode, as that title betrayed. This is about the time where they got the Joker formula for the show more or less right. Because it is still a little bit more cartoony in what he's doing, but you can see that they're going from the older Silver Age style that the cartoon shows would do, and they're getting their own footing. And of course, Mark Hamill is fully into the character. He's got the gist of it, and voice work is excellent. Even though there is an uncredited cameo from Tim Curry's material left in this episode, and that is the laughing robotic clown, and that is the laugh he was going to use as Joker. It would have been interesting to see that, like I mentioned in the last episode that we touched on that topic, but what is a nice little way to reuse the line. Now, plot of the episode, it begins with Mayor Hamilton Hill. He is at a dedication ceremony talking about, oh, the city is going to be safe, this new building is going to help make it safe, and in the middle of this, in comes a police chase. Gangsters, their vehicle gets incapacitated, and they jump out with Tommy guns. Oh yeah, gangsters. Batman intervenes, and he literally throws the crooks in the trash, helps the police catch him, and he runs off as the paparazzi come up to ask him questions. And the press, without missing a beat, they ask Hill the obvious question, like, so safety, Mayor Hill? Now, part of this is that in the process of this, they knock over a scaffolding that almost kills the mayor, so he has to dive out of the way. So they're going to approach him during this, like, sir. And he's like, they're all crooks. This was an isolated incident. And they're like, do you even put Batman in that, sir? And yes, he included Batman in that. Now, to add into this, it is the birthday of Mayor Hamilton Hill's son, but he's using the birthday as essentially a meet and greet with his constituents, or should I say his rich constituents, including, of course, Bruce Wayne. And the only kids invited to the birthday party are friends of these constituents, which is making his son depressed. I mean, especially since his son's interests do not align with Mayor Hill's. Like, his son likes practicing magic and wants to be a magician, but Mayor Hamilton Hill is like, son, why are you practicing one of those stupid tricks? Come on down, it's your birthday party. Don't you mean your get-together? He more or less says. Now, who happened to be watching that press conference that Mayor Hill was doing? None other than, of course, the Joker himself. And what really got his attention is that when the press was talking to him, he mentioned the Joker by name. So it was like, oh, do my ears deceive me? So the Joker decides, you know what? I am going to rain on Mayor Hill's parade, and I'm going to go to his place. And that's what the Joker does. He goes to Mayor Hamilton Hill's place, and he crashes the party dressed as another clown. And the thing I love about this is you get to hear Mark Hamill do a slightly higher pitched, more goofy clown voice. You can definitely tell it's his Joker putting on a voice, but that's what makes this really work. And he's acting like an actual clown for once. But part of this is to get in so he can plant some dynamite and really leave the party with a bang. Now, to do this, he did knock out an actual clown and took his attire. But in all of this, the one person who actually is happy to see him there, other than like, oh, you hired a clown, huh, is of course Mayor Hill's son. And he asks him a question about magic tricks, and he tells him, first what you gotta do is find a mentor and then steal his gift. And of course, because of that, the son decides he's going to follow the Joker by getting in his van and stowing away with him. And of course he ends up at one of the Joker's hideouts, which is an abandoned amusement park. A very fitting place for the Joker to hide out at, by the way. Of course the Joker finds out that the Hill son is there, and he decides, you know what, I'll get some amusement out of this. So he starts showing him some random tricks, including the sword swallowing trick. Now, since he happened to be there, Bruce Wayne does manage to thwart the Joker's plank. He's like, wait a minute, bang. And then he realizes, oh crap, that's dynamite, that's not an actual candle. And he manages to get the cake into water before it could kill somebody. Now, while they're talking about, okay, the Joker must have done this, he knocked out that clan, they realize, wait a minute, Son's missing. So Bruce gets out of there, disguises himself as Batman, and based on a comment that the Joker in character said about who he learned his magic tricks from, he realizes, wait a minute, the Joker's hiding out here. Because he made a comment about someone who used to be associated with that amusement park. A magician called the Great Prosciutto, which the picture they show for this character is a caricature of Alan Moore, who, of course, history of comic books, including Batman, so there was a nice little reference there. Anyway, Batman tracks him down, and there's a little chase scene between Batman and the Joker throughout the amusement park, including the scene where we get them on a roller coaster. Of course, it ends with the Joker falling. Of course, not to his death, obviously. He doesn't die in this show. He doesn't die until one of the spin-off shows. And then Batman saves the son. Of course, he has to talk the son into coming to him, but the son does, and he saves him. He returns it, so Mayor Hill and his son do have a happy little reunion at the end, and it's all's well that ends well. All in all, this is a fun little Joker episode. Like I said, they more or less got that formula for the Joker perfected. Got a nice little Tim Curry cameo there. All in all, it's probably not one I would go out of my way to watch, other than watching it in a marathon like this. But it is one, like, if you want to watch how they slowly develop the Joker, I would definitely recommend this as one. Obviously watch the previous two big ones I touched on, then this one, and then obviously I believe it was the next Joker episode I touch on. Definitely, let me look at my notes real quick, see when the next Joker episode is. Not going to be for a while if I'm looking at my notes right. Yeah, not for at least another 10-ish episodes, because we're going to have to touch on other rogues first. But definitely between this one and the next one, that you'll see kind of a jump if I'm remembering my episodes correctly. Now, Bruce Timm, he said that the idea for this episode came about when he had an image of Batman trying to save a child, but he or she was too scared of him, which, of course, is what happens on the roller coaster. So they backtracked onto there, and I think it worked for the time frame they have to work with this this episode on. But there's not really much else to talk about other than what I just talked about, other than the animation. I mean, it's alright for what it is on there. Nothing really major to say about it. Of course, next episode, actually the next two episodes, are going to be interesting to talk about, because it's something we kind of been building up to with a character we've been talking about, because it's now time for Harvey Dent to embrace his inner darkness. That's right. Next time it's going to be Two-Face Part 1. This will be an interesting revisit. That will be next time.